Alright guys, we're going to go through another quick video here continuing with chapter 2. So today we're looking at multi-step equations. So when you have an equation and there are like terms on one side or both sides of the equal sign, you need to combine those first. So here I have a 5m and a 2m. So I need to combine those like terms so that I get 5 equals 7m minus 23. That's very, very important step right there. Now it's just a two-step equation like we've been working on. So add 23 to both sides. And that is 28. And this says 7 times m. So to undo that, I divide by 7. And I am left with m equals 4. And you should go through and check, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to do that. That is correct. So combine the like terms first. Here is one for you to try. Go ahead and pause and try both of those. Hopefully when you're finished for the first one, you find that m equals 6. And on the second one, you find that y equals 3. All right, so hopefully you got those right. Okay, using the distributive property. So we've talked about this already this year. Remember, I like to make happy rainbows. So what do the rainbows mean? Well, they mean to multiply everything inside of here because I cannot do anything with this x inside the parentheses. I have to get rid of those parentheses. So in order to do that, I use the distributive property. Above my whiteboard, you'll notice there's a sign that says, kiss your parentheses goodbye, and that is in reference to the distributive property. Very, very useful property in that regard. Okay, here I would subtract 8 from both sides. It's another two-step equation. So I have negative 16x equals 28. Divide both sides by negative 16. And I'm left with x equals, don't be afraid of fractions. Both of these are divisible by 4. So that is 7/4, and then don't forget the negative. So it's negative 7/4. And you could substitute that back in and check and double check and make sure that that is okay. So here's one for you to try. Go ahead and take a moment and pause and try to figure that one out. And hopefully when you're done, you find that x is equal to 6. And if you didn't get that, go back and try to find your mistakes. All right, let's look at this. Okay, so what about equations that have fractions? Well, in order to do this, think about if you were just adding the fractions 3/4 plus 1/3. If you were doing that particular problem, remember you'd have to find the least common denominator of both of these things. So I would have the least common denominator of these two are 12. And I would think to myself, well, what do I do to 4 to get to 12? Well, I multiply by 3, so I need to multiply the top by 3. And here I multiply by 4, so I multiply that by 4. And then you end up getting 13/12, which you could leave it as an improper fraction in my class. That's perfectly fine. You're going to do the same thing down here. You have to think, what is the least common denominator between these two things, and how do I get there? So 4 times 3, so 3x times 3 is 9x. And then here, 3 times 4, so I have x times 4, which is just 4x. And that still equals 10. And then what you would do is, when you do that and you get the same denominator, then you do whatever the operation is here with your numerators. In other words, it's 9x minus 4x over 12 equals 10. So I subtract those and I get 5x divided by 12 equals 10. I'm going to run out of room here, so give me a second. Come on now. I'll erase this stuff. Go away. See you later. Sayonara. So from here I would multiply both sides by, oops, got my pen upside down, by 12. These simplify out, and I'll come up here so I have some space. You get 5x equals 120. Divide by 5. And x equals, let's see, what is that? 120 divided by 24. X equals 24. All right, so hopefully you followed that. Make sure you have those copied down. Here is one for you to try on your own, so make sure you pause and you try that. And hopefully when you're done, you find that b equals 60 over 23. That is an improper fraction. You could leave it as an improper fraction. In fact, my preference is for you to do that. I believe that's all we have for today. Just let me double check. Yep, that's it. So I'll see you in class. Make sure you've taken good notes, and we'll do some problems, then a checkpoint.